we're just waiting for other members. We'll start in just 2 minutes.
Just give me a second as well. I'm getting a call. Let me just put it on Do Not Disturb.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hello, sir. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So first of all, welcome everyone. And I would like to thank Sir Manish, and I would like to thank Ma'am Seher and Shoyaberg for joining us for the focus group discussion. So I'm Manya Bhalotia from Anonymous. I'll be the moderator for this discussion. Before we proceed, can I have an introduction from all of you uh, with your name followed by your designation?
So, hello everyone, this is Manish. I'm a certified nutritionist and nutrition coach, and I run this wellness startup called Life Shapers, which is into changing people's eating habits. Uh, and like that. I'm into this field since last almost a decade.
Okay, so thank you. Now, Seher ma'am, you can.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Saher. I've just graduated my bachelor's 2 years ago, and I started a home bakery where I sell varieties of desserts, but mainly custom cakes is what sells. I I've always had a passion for baking, and during COVID is when I experimented and decided that it's something that I would like to pursue. So I've been running my small business for 3 years now. It's called Melange Dessert Bar, and it's been great ever since.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Sure, you can.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shaurya, and I'm an avid chocolate consumer. So I think I consider myself a bit of a chocolate enthusiast. So that will be my role in this FGD.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Now I would like to introduce you all to my team. So we have Tanmaya, she will be the observer for this meeting, and we have other team members also on the board, whose names are Shaurya and Ritika, Akash, Manas. They will be assessing here with us. So before we proceed, I would like to give you a small brief of the focus group discussion. Basically, over here, we have people from similar background and similar experiences so that it can help us with our project and our findings. As we know, we have a nutritionist and a very professional baker and a chocolate enthusiast. So the flow of the meeting will be that I'll ask a question, which I have already given, and one by one, each and everyone can give their answer. And then, if you guys want, you can have a discussion among yourselves about it. And if not, we can move forward with the next question. So, shall we proceed with the first question?
Yes, we could.
Okay. So, the first question would be what factors do you believe most influence consumer decisions when choosing a chocolate product? We can go in a format. Manish sir, you can go first, and then Seher ma'am, and then Shoyabai.
Can you repeat the question again? Let me just open the question.
Yes, sir. So the first question is that what factors do you believe most influence consumer decisions when choosing a chocolate product?
So, so chocolate is generally a, you know, when you like from a nutritionist point of view, it's generally bought by a category of people who take it for as a dessert. So obviously, taste is a very very important part when they buy a dessert, and it's not based on any of these you know other fancy things. So it's being a dessert. Obviously, taste is a very very important part of it. Second is the branding part of it. So once people perceive that this is a good chocolate brand based on the marketing ads and other things they see, that's how they buy a chocolate product. Uh, and as Shaurya mentioned, there are people who just buy it because they are chocolate enthusiasts and they cannot tolerate any other flavor rather than chocolate. So I think these are the three major things when it comes to choosing a product.
Okay, sir. Ma'am, you can go forward.
Yeah, to add on to what Manish sir has said, that's absolutely right. We first, I mean, feel like first we eat with our eyes. That's one of the most common things that's said. A lot of companies, including my own, we spend a lot of our, like, we invest a lot in packaging to make things look pretty because what catches your eye first is what you would pick up. But additional to that, it's not to add to the disappointment of after you spend money to get something for the taste as well. Also, I feel like in our generation now, the word influence has become very out there. People do kind of get influenced a lot by social media and stuff like that. So, marketing by certain personalities also would impact a decision. Like if I were to have a favorite celebrity of mine and they end up promoting this particular brand or any chocolate for that sake, I might most likely would be influenced to try that because of the personality that's marketing it. So I feel like social media marketing and influencers or celebrities do also play a very big role in this generation to influence any person to want to buy something. That would be my 2 cents.
Yes, definitely agree. Now show you good.
So yeah, I think for normal consumers, the main factors would be the taste of the chocolate or basically marketing, as ma'am said. But I think for people who prefer chocolate or their main preference of dessert is chocolates, they would also like to know the quality ingredients, where the cacao beans are sourced from, and how it's made. The taste and texture also adds to the chocolate greatly. So people would also see that is the cacao being sourced ethically? What are the natural ingredients in it? Are there any preservatives in the chocolate or not? So yeah, people will also pay high prices for special cacao beans, and if they think that the chocolate is ethically sourced. So yeah, I don't think that price will be a factor, but cacao beans and sourcing is important for chocolate consumers.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything you guys want to have a discussion among yourselves on this topic?
I think for me it is good enough. I totally agree to all
Yeah.
the two other things.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So we'll
Likewise,
just,
but I also do feel like a price would somewhere come in the way, not for chocolate enthusiasts, but kind of like budgeting factor for the vast population.
Yeah,
As
true.
someone
For
who,
normal consumers, obviously, price is a great factor for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I feel like I always would understand or rather go for quality over quantity. So I feel like if you do want something great, then you have to pay for it. So I do agree with your point as well.
okay. So now moving on to the next question. What challenges or opportunities do you see in promoting a new chocolate brand with an emphasis on health and wellness?
Okay, so if I go first, talking about health and wellness, that's my field. So chocolate, as I mentioned, it's generally considered as a dessert. So there'll be no challenge per se when I promote it as a health and wellness product. Only for me, I understand because I understand how people consume food. As Sahar mentioned, looks is the first thing they see, and taste is the second thing they see. So if there is a healthy brand, if I can get near to a chocolate taste, then probably they'll prefer. But if it's anyway, like for example, if you see dark chocolate, there is only a very fixed people of number of people who actually like dark chocolate and developed a taste of it. Do you ask an average person, an average teenager, that would you like a dark chocolate or let's say Cadbury normal chocolate? They would obviously pick up a Cadbury normal chocolate because taste is very important at that point of view. So when we look at any uh, product in the market which has been developed from, which is considered as an unhealthy product, but is made healthy for wellness side, the only factor is taste. Like for example, I love chole bhature, but if you give me a baked chole bhature, I would not have it because the taste is the very fact for which you have a chole bhature is the taste part of which is because which comes because of frying. Okay, we can give n number of alterations. So I think taste is very important. So if for a wellness product which is considered unhealthy, if you're ready to get near to the taste of what it gives, and the pricing part of it is very important because even though people are in the wellness market, there uh, the the pricing goes very high whenever we try to make it a super healthy product, right? Again, coming back, if you can see any product in the market which is you know probably made out of quinoa or made out of, like for example, baked product, samosa and a baked samosa, the cost will go up, right? So if the cost margin is not very high, like if I pay 12 rupees for one product and I pay 15 rupees for a healthy product, probably I'll choose that. But if I pay 12 rupees for a unhealthy product and let's say a 30 rupee for an unhealthy product, then my choices will become limited slowly and not pick up that product too often when it talk about the commercial side of it. I think taste, cost, and looks, if we can take care of that from healthy side, it will be a great opportunity part of that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now you can.
Stars pretty much brushed over the entire topic exactly how I'd say it. So when it comes to challenges, I think the one thing that I can think of the most would be the pricing. Um, Natural sweetness in general is something that's a lot more expensive, whether it's artificial or natural. But so the price would become a bit much in terms of me trying to sell the brand. But in terms of opportunities, I think that are immense. Nowadays, people are trying to look into more healthier alternatives, probably based on the shift of lifestyle post-COVID. Everything has become online, and I think the amount of work people do in terms of lifestyle changes has become a lot more lesser. Everything can be got on the phone. You don't even have to go to supermarkets anymore. So prioritizing health has become vastly a lot more now. So me, if I'm personally trying to look into it, I would, and if there was, I mean, all of us have sweet cravings at some point. I know there are a few people who are not into chocolates, but majority of the people are chocolate lovers or would rather like to have it. So if I were to eat it guilt-free, I would pay for it. I would look into it. So that's a good way of marketing. And also anything natural, organic by itself becomes an opportunity for marketing or wanting to purchase it. So that would be one thing. Also, I do have I do not have vegan or gluten-free products yet, but I do have a lot of people who come in for it, not for allergic purposes, but mainly for the purpose of eating healthy. So I do see that there is a market where people would want, who are looking into healthier opportunity, I mean, healthier alternatives. So I think that there is a scope for it, and it is, although the challenge is there, I think it'll still do well in market. So that would be mine.
Okay, thank you. Um,
Yeah. So I completely agree with sir and ma'am that price would be the biggest challenge in this market. But another challenge would be convincing the people that healthy chocolate can still taste amazing. Because the common perception about chocolate is that less sugar means less flavor in the chocolate. But that is also where the opportunity lies. The opportunity is proving this idea wrong, that healthy chocolate can also be tasty and taste just as good as normal chocolate. If the chocolate tastes just as indulgent but comes with health benefits, it'll appeal to a wide range of consumers. For example, if a consumer goes to a supermarket and he sees a normal chocolate and a healthy chocolate, if there's a price difference of 5 to 10 rupees, he'll obviously prefer the healthy chocolate over the normal chocolate if he knows that the healthy option tastes just as good as the normal option. So that's where I think the challenges and opportunities in this sector lies.
Okay. So, before I move on to the next question, while listening to the answers, I had this one thing in my mind. And because you guys are experts, you will be able to answer this. So, I won some random day. We were having a discussion in a class. Ki, are healthy products actually that expensive, or are they competitively priced that people will choose them? Because as a normal consumer who isn't out, for example, I would think कि अच्छा healthy है तो वो expensive ही होगा. But there are some research which shows कि it's not that expensive. It's just the perception कि it's healthy, so it's expensive. So to clear that out, what are your views? Is it really like that?
I'll go first because I have some experience here. So I did work for another company. It's another small business itself. They cater in gluten-free, vegan, completely gluten-free, but also various other dietary preferences. So ingredients that are used for such things are expensive if sourced in a smaller quantity. But if I am someone who does bulk production, which is more or less most companies, then the cost does cut down a lot. So, based on my experience, it's actually not as expensive as it's priced, but because it's a competitive market, it's a niche. Not everybody is able to make healthy food also taste good. So, when someone has the skills to do that, and if there are people who are willing to pay, then I would charge that much for the work and skill I put in. Not sure how ethical or unethical it is to hike up the prices that much, but that's just how it is. People are willing to pay, and it's become such that healthy and organic food has become a niche. I'm talking purely in terms of desserts. Maybe fruits and culinary and everything is probably different based because organically sourced fruits and vegetables are very difficult to get your hands on nowadays, especially because of the temperature difference in different places and stuff. So it depends, it varies, but I feel like it is more or less hiked up a lot because it's a specific niche. It could be lower, but yeah, it's what it is.
Okay, so I think more or less similar to what Seher mentioned. Specifically, when you talk about, like, for example, monk fruit, which is the topic of discussion, I did some research when I spoke to Shaurya on this. So, see, like Shahar mentioned, it's not very difficult when you scale it up. Like, for example, in healthier options, stevia is a very scaled up option. A lot of farming is done throughout the world, different places. In India, a lot of places, stevia farming is done. But when you come to other alternatives, it's all depends on your demand supply. And when you talk about other alternatives, if the farming is done at a lower scale, your cost obviously goes up. And that's where the major part and the demand supply part comes in. Because to make something go cheap, like for example, when you talk about healthy options, you have to produce in bulk amount. But to produce in bulk amount, you need enough raw material supply to come in to make it cheap. If we cannot make it so that it can go in multiple geographies, multiple places, etc., so the cost definitely goes up. I think that is one factor very, very important.
Okay, thank you. That clears up a little bit of confusion. So, Now, moving on to the next question. What are your general thoughts on using alternative sweeteners, as we talked about monk fruit, in chocolate products? Like if we use an alternative sweetener like monk fruit, which is the topic, then what are your thoughts about it? Anyone can, like, whoever wants to speak. Yeah.
So I guess I'll
Manish, so
start.
you can go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so monk fruit, I did some research on monk fruit. So obviously, the first point I mentioned, what I read was it's a better option than stevia because stevia has some side effects when it comes to digestive issues on long-term usage. Whereas monk fruit is much better compared to that. It's a fruit source, much healthier option, much friendly to the liver. A lot of other good health options it has. The only con part of the disadvantage part of monk fruit is the scaling up part because the cultivation of monk fruit is very, very rare. Only few parts of the world can cultivate it in large amounts. So that makes it a little, the demand supply issue. Second is the taste part of it, as we mentioned. So if the second disadvantage of monk fruit is the taste. It is because it comes from a fruit, and every fruit has a very distinctive fruity taste. So when you mix it with chocolate, I'm sure Seher will know it better when it comes to mixing up things. If they don't gel up well, it'll destroy the taste of the whole experience of the person having. And usually, fruit has its own very very typical taste. And if it remains, like for example, stevia chocolate, I had stevia chocolates multiple times. You will feel a different taste after taste. So like after you eat stevia chocolate, you get a little bit of bitterness towards the end, when the chocolate is over. So that is one. But in terms of advantages of monk fruit, it has tremendous advantages when it comes to health. Uh, very, very, it has good number of antioxidants, much better compared to stevia, much lower side effects in terms of stevia. Plus, when you use a fruit, uh, the advantage is being of a natural component like stevia, while it comes from leaves of this. So the longevity of the health benefit of that is much much great. Whereas again, coming to disadvantage of a fruit is the longevity part of the product. So the expiry comes lower when you use a fruit component because fruits usually expire, and the expiry part of that comes down. So this is a mixed sort of answer in terms of advantages and disadvantages when it comes to monk fruit versus other healthier options like stevia, which is top of the market when it comes to healthier options for artificial sweetening.
Yes, sir.
Just a second. I'm having some disturbance.
Yeah, Ash.
Yes. Is it too loud that I'm all sparking?
No, no, it's
I sure
fine.
you can go through. I will have someone do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, I'll do it. So I think monk fruit can work well if done right. It's because it's naturally sweet without the bitterness that some other sweeteners have. The key is making sure that the sweetness doesn't overpower the cacao flavors, and if the balance is good, it can be a great option. But if not, it can genuinely ruin the experience for those who appreciate quality. I have also tried a chocolate which has used which has sorry uh, yeah, which has used monk fruit as an alternative sweetener. So I tried this chocolate, Laganto chocolate in Thailand. So it has a good combination of good balance between it, but it did have a bit of bitterness aftertaste because I think they overused the monk fruit in it. Otherwise, if you get the balance right, it'll be a great sweetener replacement from stevia and other. Yeah.
Yeah. So based on the research I did, the first thing I did was Googled if monk fruit does have an aftertaste because I've personally never tried the fruit or its use in a chocolate. And from a few articles, I got a response where it says there is little to no aftertaste. So, like you said, the balance must have been off in the chocolate you tried. And also, the fruit by itself, the potency of the sweetness aspect of the fruit is a lot more potent than regular sugar. So that would also aid somehow in the taste of the fruit, because then you would have to use a very small quantity to get the required sweetening, how much you would prefer, as against using regular sugar. So that way, if of course, a lot of trial and error needs to be done to get the balance, the recipes right. But otherwise, I think that this is a great alternative, and compared to, like Manish sir said, that artificial sweeteners are have its side effects on your body. Like, we work like for the healthier alternatives, we usually try to use stevia or erythritol, xylitol, and these do impact your health. Even though, although for a very small percent, it does impact in some way. Whereas this fruit is natural, so it would not have such side effects, and if used right, maybe you can kind of reduce the amount of taste of fruit because you're using a small quantity, and it could also just be made almost similar to any other chocolate without the aspect of having to consume sugar or calories.
Okay, yeah. So, does anyone want to speak, or should I move to the next question?
No, I think pretty much everybody covered. But only thing is that when you think it commercially, let's evaluate both taste and commercials together to understand whether an idea can be commercially viable idea or not.
Yes.
That way, I feel like it wouldn't be, given the fact that this fruit is only available in parts of China and Thailand. If I were to sell it in any other part of the world, then import charges comes into place, which will hike up the price like tenfold. So commercially, unless I'm a well-established brand with my own funding base like Nestle or any of the other big companies, I it would be hard for smaller brands to try to get a hold of this, although it does seem very appealing to try.
Yes, definitely true. Now, the meeting will end. So we'll send you a new meeting link. You guys can join that. Okay. Thank you.